What's up, y'all? It's TruthTiger, and I'm going to talk about keeping your peace amongst the chaos. This world is broken, it's chaotic, there's a lot of craziness, there's a lot of crazy people and crazy situations and stuff that happens, and in that chaos, it's very easy for us to lose our peace, to stay in a state of anger, to stay in a state of anxiety, and to just lose that inner calm within us. Yesterday, I decided to take the train into town. There's a train stop right near my apartment where I live. I decided, hey, it'd be fun to take the train. The stop's right there. I'll take that into town, do my thing, leave the car at home. I did that, it was going good, and then on the way back, the train gets delayed. And apparently, one of the train tracks caught fire. There was some type of an electrical fire on the train track. I ended up having to wait a long time. I had to take a bus instead, and it ended up eating up about an hour of my time. And on top of that, I was supposed to meet someone back at my place, and I thought I'd have tons of time. I didn't, and I'm having to rush back. But in the midst of that process, I realized, like, I could let this make me angry. I could let this take my peace. I could get mad. I could get upset. I could be frustrated. I could say, why me? Why is this happening? Or I could remain in a state of peace. And this time I chose to stay peaceful. In a lot of past situations where I'd been tested, I did not stay peaceful. I let it get to me. But in this case, I stayed chill. I knew that in the end of the day, things would be fine. I didn't need to worry about the time that was lost. Whatever, I'll figure it out. It's okay, you know, it's not a big deal. And it's funny because the bus stop I was waiting at was near a gas station. There's a taco truck there. So I think, all right, cool, I need some food. I'll get a taco here. The truck is just being parked there, not selling any tacos. So I'm like, oh man, no taco? But I realized, like, I can't get in this mentality of, like, the train's delayed, I have to wait for this bus, and now I can't get a taco. And I just realized, like, dude, whatever. I'm just being tested. You know, God is testing me. The universe is testing me. Whatever. It's a pretty easy test, not a big deal. There's no reason for me to lose my peace with this. And I really thought about this and meditated on this while I was at home. You know, God showed me that, like, you got to really be forgiving of things and forgiving of situations. He said, you're going to be mad at the train? Are you going to be mad at the fact that the tracks caught fire? Are you going to be mad at the city, you know? And I'm like, whatever, no, you know? And I'm not saying to not have a sense of righteous anger. I'm not saying to just be okay with things being bad. Like, the train track shouldn't be catching fire. That's not safe. That's not good. You know, the train should be running when they're supposed to run, you know, but whatever, some stuff happened. I'm not gonna let that steal my peace. And I really thought about all the past anger I had toward my parents, the system I was raised in, towards this world, towards a lot of fake people who I thought were friends who stabbed me in the back. And I really thought about it, and I'm like, I'm not okay with any of that. I'm not cool with any of that. It's not what I want. It's not what I like. I'm not cool with those people, but at the same time, I need to be able to just say, hey, there were some bumps on the road. It was a tough journey. I had some fake people do some fake stuff. There's people who I thought were my friends who were not my friends. You know, my parents did a bad job raising me, but it is what it is. I can't, like, hold on to that and remain in a state of anger on that, because I used to just be angry all the time. I'd think about this stuff, and I'd be mad, and it'd be going around in my head, going around in circles, and I'd be mad about what's happening in the world, mad about all this unfair stuff. And you should be mad on some level, but you should not remain in a state of anger. You need to stay in a state of peace, a state of calm, a state of grace, a state of love, you know, because this world is a broken place. It's not a fair place. It's not a kind or a loving place. But in the end of the day, everything is presided over by God. And yes, the devil is trying to stand between us and God and control this world and corrupt this world and all that stuff, you know. But at some point, you know, I'm not going to go around, I'm so mad at the devil, I'm angry at the devil. God's going to throw the devil in hell for all eternity. And same with all those who follow him. You know, he is. Vengeance will be his. And for me to stay in a state of anger and stay in a state of bitterness, all I'm going to do is tear myself down. All I'm going to do is make myself unhappy and miserable. All that I'm going to do is make my own life worse. They already made my life worse. I don't need to then go kick myself. They already threw me down and kicked me around. I'm not then going to kick myself around, you know? I'm not going to damage myself. And I'm still working on it, getting out of the state of anger. I'm still working on finding happiness, finding peace. I'm still working on it because there's still stuff I'm going through, but I realize that, you know, I got to stay peaceful. I got to stay calm. I have to have a forgiving attitude. And when I say forgiving attitude, I don't mean to let bad people come back into your life. I don't mean to not set boundaries. I just mean to be able to let go of the crap in the past. To be able to start fresh, start anew, and to just let it go. And to be able to forgive yourself too, you know? I've done things to myself that have held myself back. I have been in my own way. You know, I've been mistaken about things, and rather than to beat myself up, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I have to let go of the anger in general. Stop being angry at other people, stop being angry at myself, stop being angry at the world. And at the same time, I don't condone that. I don't condone sin. I don't condone evil. I don't condone bad behavior. I don't condone any of that. I'm not cool with that. I'm not about that. I'm not good with that. But at the same time, to just say, hey, this shit is effed up. It's effed up. It's messed up. We're all in this crap. It is crazy. It is chaotic. But I can stay calm. I can stay relaxed and not let the failures, the brokenness, the things that don't work out, the rejection, the ways people try to humiliate you, whatever, the ways people try to drag you into fights and arguments. I'm just not going to hold on to it. I'm not going to let it get to me, and I'm not going to let that pull me down and put me in a state of anger and just mess with me, you know, because it's easy to do this. I mean, this guy, you can't see him, but he's backing his car up right in the middle of the intersection, just doing a really inconsiderate U-turn. Got a Range Rover, too. Think they're better than people, but at the same time, I could look at that and I could say, yo, you're driving like an idiot, don't drive like that. But I'm not going to carry that around and remain angry and how dare they, I hate this people, they're so inconsiderate. You know, and they are. And on some level, you know, you do need to say something and be like, hey, this shit sucks. But you can't, like, you can't have an attitude of anger. You can't have an attitude where you're always mad, always angry, always upset, always disappointed, always, of course, it didn't work out. Of course, there was a failure. Of course, there was a problem. Nothing ever goes right for me. You know, you have to have some hope because God is always there. There is always hope. There is always love. There is always kindness, even if it's not obvious at first. So hold on to some hope. Stay hopeful. Stay peaceful. And even when you're around all the chaos, like it's like in the New Testament when they're on the boat and there's a big storm going on. And Jesus's disciples are all panicking and they're all anxious, and he's chilling. And then finally he calms the water for them. But, you know, the lesson there is like, hey, you're going to be in some choppy seas. You got to stay faithful. Stay calm. You got to know that, you know, God rules in the end, and good rules in the end, and love rules in the end, and truth rules in the end. And that this chaos, this evil will be here for a short time, but Goodness will win in the end. It's stronger than evil. And just stay in that goodness and don't get pulled down into a state of anger, into a pessimistic, angry, nihilistic state where everything sucks, there's no point to anything, it's all meaningless, who cares, nothing matters. To get out of that state and to say that things do matter, there is hope, work hard, things can get better, you can make improvements, think for yourself, you can make improvements, and to just have that mentality that things can get better and it's not worth getting all tripped up about these little setbacks we face. And sometimes big setbacks, very big setbacks. And it's not an easy thing to do to let go of this stuff. It's not. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard, but you'll be so much better for it in the end. If you hold on to that stuff, it's going to destroy you in the end of the day. So yeah, that's the end of my message here. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you appreciate this video. Much love. God bless. And I will see you all next time.